Tanjiro is knocked to the ground, blood running down his face. For a moment, fear takes hold, but then he remembers Sabito's words. Don't let your mind wander. Control your breathing. Focus. Tanjiro stands again. He closes his eyes. He can feel the water flow through him. Water breathing, fifth form. Blessed rain after the drought. With a single smooth motion, his blade cuts through the air, and the demon's head flies free. The strike is so calm, so graceful, that the demon doesn't even feel pain. As the hand demon's head lies in the mud, its rage fades, replaced by sorrow. For a moment, Tanjiro sees its past. It was once human, a frightened boy, corrupted and abandoned. Now, as it dissolves into dust, it remembers the touch of a caring hand, a mother who once loved it. Tanjiro kneels beside it, offering a silent prayer. Even to a monster, he shows compassion, because deep down he knows every demon was once human. As dawn breaks, Tanjiro breathes heavily, his blade glinting with morning light. He has survived his first night, but the trial isn't over. For the next 7 days, he will fight, bleed, and endure. And through it all, he carries the memory of Sabito, Makomo, and every fallen student of Urokodaki. The boy who once feared death has become something new, a warrior tempered by kindness and loss. Episode 4, Final Selection, captures what makes Demon Slayer so special. It's not just about slaying monsters, it's about empathy, discipline, and the fragile line between life and death. Tanjiro's blade is more than a weapon, it's a promise. A promise to honor the dead, protect the living, and one day find a cure for Nezuko. And as the wisteria flowers sway in the breeze, Tanjiro takes another step forward, toward his destiny as a demon slayer. But surviving the mountain is only the beginning. Episode 5 of Demon Slayer, Kimetsu no Yaiba, titled My Own Steel, begins where the final selection ends. 7 long nights have passed since Tanjiro Kamado stepped onto Mount Fujikase. The wisteria blooms are fading, and only a handful of young warriors remain. When the gates finally open, Tanjiro walks out, exhausted, bruised, but alive. He looks around and realizes that from dozens who entered, only 4 have survived. Among them stands a silent, stoic boy with yellow hair, Genya Shinazugawa, and another with gentle eyes, whose name we will learn later as Kaneo Tsuyuri. The twin attendants welcome them and announce their reward. They have officially passed the final selection. Each of them is now recognized as a member of the Demon Slayer Corps. But there's no celebration, only silence. Because survival here isn't victory, it's proof of what they've lost. The attendants explain the next step. Each new Slayer must choose the ore for their personal blade, the Nichiren sword. These ores, called Sun Steel, are forged from metal constantly bathed in sunlight, and can channel the wielder's breathing techniques to slay demons. They are Tanjiro's next test, the first step toward forging his own steel, his own destiny. One of the twins presents a tray of stones of varying colors. Each gleams faintly under the moonlight, some red, some blue, some pitch black. Tanjiro closes his eyes and trusts his instinct. He chooses one, guided by his heart rather than his sight. As he leaves the mountain, he clutches the stone like a promise. After days of walking, Tanjiro finally returns to the place he calls home, the little wooden house where Urokodaki and Nezuko wait. The moment he sees his master, he bows deeply, tears welling in his eyes. Urokodaki doesn't speak. Instead, he steps forward and pulls Tanjiro into an embrace. For a man who hides behind a mask, it's a rare moment of pure emotion. He had feared Tanjiro would never return, just like Sabito and Makomo before him. But this time, his student came back alive. Tanjiro quietly thanks him for everything. And then, a sound breaks the silence. The creak of a door opening. After a long, mysterious sleep, Nezuko finally awakens. When Tanjiro sees her standing there, her eyes gentle again, her body no longer trembling, he can't hold back his tears. Kadaki explains that Nezuko's sleep is different from normal demons. While others feed on human flesh, she restores her strength by sleeping. She's no longer driven by hunger, but by love and willpower. It's a miracle, one that gives Tanjiro new hope. Together, the siblings share a quiet moment. For the first time since their family's death, they can smile again. A few days later, Kadaki's home is visited by a colorful and eccentric man, Nezuko, the swordsmith assigned to forge Tanjiro's blade. He bursts into the room with wild energy, muttering excitedly about Nichiren ore and craftsmanship. Tanjiro nervously introduces himself, while Nezuko practically dances with enthusiasm. Finally, he presents Tanjiro's weapon, the Nichiren blade, also called the color-changing sword. The blade's color changes depending on its wielder, revealing their affinity, their strength, their destiny. Tanjiro draws the sword slowly, sunlight catching on the metal. The blade shifts, darkens, and turns black. A black Nichiren blade, rare and mysterious. It's said that those who wield it die young, because no one yet knows the true nature of its power. But Tanjiro doesn't flinch. He holds the sword firmly, knowing that every breath he takes will forge that steel with his resolve. For him, it's not a curse. It's a symbol of his uniqueness, his strength, and his promise to Nezuko. Just as Tanjiro marvels at his new weapon, a sudden voice interrupts him. Not from a person, but from a talking crow. Tanjiro Kamado, your first mission awaits. The talking crow is his Kasugai crow, a messenger assigned to all demon slayers. It announces his next destination, a nearby town where young girls have been vanishing at night. Tanjiro's first true test as a demon slayer has begun. With his black sword by his side and Nezuko traveling in her wooden box, Tanjiro sets out down the mountain. Kadaki calls out a few final words: to remember his training, to protect his sister, and to never forget kindness. The sun sets as the siblings walk the dirt road. Two figures bound by blood and fate, stepping into a world filled with demons, sorrow, and hope. Episode 5, My Own Steel, is more than just the end of training. It's the moment Tanjiro becomes a demon slayer, not just in title, but in spirit. The steel in the title doesn't just refer to his sword. It's the strength of his heart, the resolve forged through loss, pain, and love. From this point forward, every battle, every breath, and every swing of his blade will carry the weight of his promise to save a sister and to bring peace to those trapped in darkness. And as Tanjiro takes his first steps toward his new mission, his legend, the legend of the boy with the black blade, truly begins. Episode 6 of Demon Slayer, Kimetsu no Yaiba, titled Swordsman Accompanying a Demon, begins with Tanjiro Kamado setting out on his first official mission as a demon slayer. Armed with his new black Nichiren blade and the weight of his master's teachings, Tanjiro's resolve has never been stronger. But beyond the hills of Mount Natagumo, a town hides a chilling mystery. Young women are vanishing in the night, and somewhere in the shadows, a demon is waiting. As Tanjiro enters the town, he can feel something off. Even in the daylight, the air is thick with fear. Families whisper about daughters who disappeared without a sound. The only clue, they were all last seen just before sunset. Tanjiro's heightened sense of smell begins to work. The faint trace of demon scent lingers beneath the streets. But when he tries to follow it, it fades almost as if the demon isn't walking the earth at all. Tanjiro meets a heartbroken young man, Kazumi, whose fiancée, Satoko, was one of the victims. Kazumi is devastated. The townspeople blame him, calling him cursed or mad. But Tanjiro believes him. He kneels beside Kazumi, assuring him that he'll find the demon responsible. For a brief moment, the boy who lost everything himself comforts another who's suffering the same pain. It's a small act, but it defines who Tanjiro is. A warrior who fights not from hatred, but from compassion. When night descends, the hunt begins. Tanjiro's senses sharpen. The scent of demon blood thickens. And then it splits. 3 distinct odors. There's more than one presence, and they're moving underground. Suddenly, the cobblestone street ripples like liquid. From the shadows beneath, a demon's pale arm bursts forth, grabbing a woman and dragging her down into the dark.